These are this afternoon's top stories. Second sitting of National Assembly convened this morning. Barbados sugar officials are worried about the state of the industry, and Colonel Muammar Gaddafi's son is being sentenced to death. Good afternoon and welcome to the ZIZ Midday newscast for today, Tuesday, July 28th, 2015. I am JD Keynes. In national news, the National Assembly of St. Kitts and Nevis convened earlier today at government headquarters. Starting at 10 a.m., Parliament met to debate the Banking Bill 2015 and the St. Christopher and Nevis Citizenship Amendment Bill 2015, introduced by the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, Prime Minister and Minister responsible for Finance, Sustainable Development, National Security, People Empowerment and Constituency Empowerment. The Shiloh Baptist Church Nevis Incorporation Bill was also introduced and read along with the Public Business Bill. The meeting of the National Assembly was aired live on ZIZ Television Channel 5, ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM, and via the World Wide Web at www.zizonline.com. The local police force is doing its part to ensure safety and ample security during today's sitting of the National Assembly of St. Kitts and Nevis. Prior to the sitting, which commenced at 10 a.m., the police force advised that the measures include security checks of everyone entering the gallery. Through a release, the force reminded of offences related to the National Assembly in accordance with the Powers and Privileges Act, Chapter 2.04. They include admittance to the National Assembly and attempted intimidation of National Assembly or any committee. President of the St. Kitts chapter of the University of the Virgin Islands Alumni Association says UVI has endless opportunities.
Now, all of that came with some benefits because I got to meet a lot of good people, not just at UVI, but all over the place. We traveled to Washington, we traveled to Florida for various events, and we met people from around the world. We even met some people in New York. I went to a Thurgood Marshall conference, and I met some of those Fortune 500 company CEOs. They were offering us interviews. So
President St. Clair Hodge revealed that his involvement in almost every aspect of university life included student senator, vice president of the Student Government Association, president of the Marketing Club, resident assistant, and president of the St. Kitts Nevis Association on campus.
With UVI, it's a unique feel because you're in the Caribbean, you're with your Caribbean peers, but you still have that exposure and that reach to the US. And what that did for me is it got me in touch with so many persons professionally that I have a lot of friends. If I need things done, if I need something to be done as a favor, I can reach out to certain places and have that favor done without even having any remorse or having to know that, we begged.
Hodge said these opportunities can expand one's horizons. Regionally, Barbados' sugar officials are worried about the state of the industry. The high cost, which has already this year forced authorities to abandon the harvesting of an estimated 1,000 acres of cane during the just ended crop. With a further decline in sugar output this year and over the years, Chairman of the Islands Cane Industry Corporation, Dr. Atlee Brathwaite, is expressing serious concern at not being able to reap those canes. He said it was an economic decision.
That is a question of cost because the factory was remaining operational and waiting on canes. Okay, and that would have carry up the cost of production significantly. So you had to cut off at some point. Remember, we were harvesting canes from the Independence as well as the AMC. When the Independence finished, canes were not delivered at a rate that would have made the continuous operation of the factory economical. So we had to cut off at some point in time. In other words, to keep the factory open, to harvest those canes would have been very costly.
In more regional news, but we turn now to St. Lucia. One man was killed on Monday following a motor vehicle collision along one of the island's highways. HTS News Force Rihani Isidore has the details.
Responders arrived on the scene of a deadly motor vehicle collision along the Bexar Highway just before 12 p.m. Monday.
On arrival at the scene, one minibus was traveling from Castries towards Vieux-Fort, and a truck that was traveling from Vieux-Fort towards Castries came into contact with each other. The minibus had passengers on board. As a result of the incident, one passenger in the rear seat of this minibus is seriously injured. He was transported to Victoria Hospital, and he was left in care of the hospital for further medical treatment.
One man, identified as Randy John, 31, from Bexon, reportedly died at hospital after sustaining a traumatic head injury. A close family friend disclosed to News Force John recently celebrated a birthday. Traffic along the major north-south thoroughfare grounded to a snarl as traffic officers cordoned off the location for the necessary evidence gathering. Several passengers on board the minibus were also rushed to hospital for treatment. According to emergency officials, the truck driver came out unscathed. The circumstances surrounding Monday's fatal accident were unclear. However, News Force's cameras were on the ground to capture the extensive damage to the minibus and the truck, which careened off the road and plunged into a gutter. Officials are urging drivers to exercise caution and always adhere to the speed limit.
Internationally, a court in Libya has sentenced Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, son of deposed leader of Colonel Muammar Gaddafi, and 8 others to death over war crimes linked to the 2011 revolution. More in this report from Euronews.
Saif al-Islam has been sentenced to death. The second son of Muammar Gaddafi, the former leader of Libya, was tried in absentia for war crimes against the Libyan people. He's accused of torturing and killing civilians during a 2011 uprising. Al-Islam denies the charges. He gave evidence via video link from Zintan region, where rebel militia have held him since 2011. 8 others were also sentenced to death at the trial in Tripoli, including former Gaddafi-era spy chief Abdullah al-Senussi and ex-Prime Minister Baghdadi al-Mahmoudi. All are eligible to appeal the sentences. More than 30 close associates of former dictator Muammar Gaddafi were facing charges. Al-Islam is also wanted by the International Criminal Court on counts of war crimes and crimes against humanity.
Boston and the U.S. Olympic Committee jointly on Monday announced the ending of the city's campaign to host the 2024 Olympic and Paralympic Games. Here's more.
It's a decision that many people were not expecting today. The United States Olympic Committee dropped Boston as their potential host city for the 2024 Summer Olympics.
It's a now failed proposal that stirred up intense debate in Massachusetts. Boston is no longer in the running to host the 2024 Summer Olympics. This after Boston Mayor Marty Walsh said he would not sign a host city agreement today if taxpayer dollars are on the line. Top state leaders are waiting on a state-commissioned report detailing the full cost of having the games here and if the city could handle an influx of spectators. The United States Olympic Committee didn't want to wait that long before they pulled the plug on Monday.
We made pretty clear that we were not going to have this report until sometime around the beginning of August. And nobody ever said that was a problem until about a week ago.
The Olympic proposal has drawn sharp controversy since day one, mainly on the issue of how such a large project would be paid for.
Most importantly, I think everyone involved in this process said no taxpayer money.
There was also the lack of public support. Senate President Stan Rosenberg of Amherst told reporters previous U.S. Olympic host cities have received help from the federal government.
We saw no indication that our federal government was going to step up to the plate beyond just the security costs.
Cities have until September 15th to decide whether they want to pursue the 2024 Olympic Games.
State lawmakers are still waiting on that state-commissioned report. They believe it could provide some valuable insight on the areas the state can improve on. Reporting live from the State House in Boston, Tiffany Chan, 22 News.
And now the weather. Temperatures will reach a high of 82 degrees Fahrenheit. In the weather forecast, which is valid until 8 a.m. tomorrow, We hear that winds are easterly at 9 to 18 miles per hour. Seas are moderate with waves of up to 6 feet. Today will be sunny to partly sunny and hazy with a chance of a few isolated showers developing. Tonight will be fair to partly cloudy with the possibility of a few isolated showers. Across the eastern Caribbean and Atlantic high pressure system remains the dominant feature, leading to generally fair to partly cloudy skies today and tonight with the chance of a few isolated showers developing. Sunrise for tomorrow is expected at 5:49 a.m. while sunset for today will be at 6:46 p.m. The amount of rainfall for July so far is 0.79 inches. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for the details to these stories and more in our major news presentation. I have been your presenter, JD Keynes. Have a great day.